This week's episode of I Was a Teenage Film Snob is not brought to you by New Coke. Welcome to I Was a Teenage Film Snob. I'm James Chalmers, your friendly neighborhood film snob. And phase 2 begins right here. Last week, I barely teased, I pretty much gave it away. We're going back in time. We're going to revisit the 80s. If the hint of rollerblades, lycra, and hair wasn't enough for you, we're going to revisit all of our previous guests and talk about their favorite films from the 80s. So the big question was, who do we start with? And it was pretty obvious to me. We choose the person who had more listens than anyone else, the most popular guest of the show, one of my favorite people in the world. And I don't know if I mentioned it last time, but I really respect her. Please welcome back to the show, Gabby Van Kuylenberg.
Hello, everybody.
I've had that line up my sleeve for the last week. Even before I told you were going to be on first, I was like, okay, Gabby on. I'm going to drop that respect line.
Well, it just hearing it again just makes me feel so good.
That's it. How are you going?
Yeah, I'm good. Just living the dream, as I like to say.
That's
and
it.
every white person ever likes to say, living the dream.
We have it very easy. So
Yeah.
Well, very excited to have you back. You were a big hit last time. As I said, you had the more listens than anyone. And I do know that you gave me the inside gossip. There were a couple of people who I don't want to use the word bullied, but definitely strongly recommended they listen to the show, but it definitely helped.
Well, yeah, I put it on my Instagram, and a few people at the time, I had a few friends who were doing long drives. They were working interstate, and they're like, oh, I'm going to give this a listen when I'm driving back. And they're like, oh, wow, this is really good. And then they listen to a few other episodes like, oh, I now I'm thinking about my list. That's exactly what I did. And I sort of hinted, not even subtly at all, that I would like to be on the podcast. And that was my in. So, I mean,
it's really funny though, because you were on my list of people to interview for a while. The first time around, I was like, I don't know if she'll be into it, but I will try and get Gabby on, because we have a pretty good time at work, and we have lots of chats and stuff. Also, the nature of our job, we don't really get to have many friends, so we we're kind of stuck with each other as well. But
yep.
But I was like, I think it should be good to get on. But I had no idea how much of a movie fan you were, and then you really surprised me last time. And you bring up an excellent point about your friends using this for road trips. This is a long show. I can't do a short episode to save my life. I think my shortest episode is still an hour and 20 minutes or something.
To be honest, I prefer it. I sound like such a brown noser, but when I'm listening to it when I'm on drives or at the gym or something, and then when I see that there's only 25 minutes left, I'm like, oh damn, it's finished. And because a lot of the podcasts that I listen to, they're true crime ones, so they go for 2.5 hours anyway, because there's the big story, and then they have those little ads in between and stuff. So I think it's a good amount of time, because some people might not have 2 hours or 2.5 hours to just sit and listen to the whole thing, but you can split it up, and it might take you a couple of days to get through it, but it's quite relaxing and fun to listen to. So, I mean, keep it coming.
This is the main reason I have you. I'm like, tell me I'm doing a good job.
Pat me on the back.
I was going to say something now I've forgotten. Well, that's embarrassing. It's pretty common with me, though.
I have that effect on people.
Well, there's something we do need to bring up very quickly, because I don't think we mentioned it last time. I say it as a person, but I do believe there's I don't want to say a special young man out there, but there is you do have a friend who's quite a big fan. Is it Andre? Is that right?
Yeah. He loves the show. I got him into it because I think the last time we spoke, we'll talk about my favorite movies, and a lot of them he hadn't seen when we met. So I got him to watch Gladiator, and we sat and watched for the first time. And we have this similar thing where we like to see other people's reactions to something that we really enjoy. So like while we're watching Gladiator, I would like have one eye on, one leg went that way and the other went that way,
Yeah.
except it was my eye on him and the other eye on the screen. And then obviously with the soundtrack, he'd also gone to see Hans Zimmer, which, is something that like we obviously didn't do together because I didn't know him then, but we'd both been to go see it. So I was like, he's done the score. It's so good. And so I had to really try and keep my excitement to myself, because I end up humming some of the music, and I'm like, and he's like, "Are you right?" I'm like, "Yeah, no, sorry, yeah." Like, isn't this so cool? So it was. He loves the podcast. Every time there's a new episode out, he'll remind me as if I don't know. He's even got some of his friends listen to it as well. So it's like a pyramid scheme. But like,
it's funny because I'm not rich, so I don't.
Yeah, where's the money at? So with the one that you did about like animated movies, he's like really,
what a terrible idea that was.
He's really, really into animated movies, and so him and his friends were discussing that, and like one of his friends said, "Oh, you would have been perfect to do that episode." I'm like, "You're just trying to weasel your way in there, aren't you?"
Well, you never know. One day, maybe. I haven't met him yet, but always happy to have listeners of the show, and especially those who like it. I don't want anyone hate listening to it. That animated episode. I've talked to Josh half a dozen times since then, and every time we were like, "Why did we? What a dumb idea that was. We should have done like best Pixar films or best 80s." Like we're like, why did we just choose animation as a genre? It's really not. Like we really should have, because the end of it, I don't know if you remember, but I was like, all right, here are my 35 honorable mentions.
Yeah, because it's just such a wide category. It's not like, you could do like stop motion, and then you could do like Pixar and Disney, and then like DreamWorks, and like there's just so many different, like, when I was listening to it, I was trying to go over what mine would be in my head, and then I got stuck into like early Disney that are like the actual drawn, and then now it's what would you even call
like
it?
the CG, like the 3D animation.
Yeah. And like I was like, oh geez, I love some of those movies. Like and I was like, and then you'd bring up another one. I'm like, oh, I love that movie too. And then, to condense it down to 5, I'm glad it wasn't me, because I am, as I said before we started recording, the master of indecision, and I would have been totally useless.
It's tough. But the alternative is like I've done 10 once. Nick and I sat down to talk about the Batman movies.
Mm-hmm.
I was like, we'll do 10 movies each. And that show went for almost 3 hours because it was just we're still figuring things out. Like there's no perfect formula. And look, we may be in trouble tonight, like with the 80s. Like it's such a broad category, and we'll get into that shortly. But I remembered what I was going to say to you before. You were talking about the crime podcast having the ads. We don't do ads on this podcast, not at this stage.
I'm so glad.
we do not ads, so
Yes.
that's we talk about things that don't sponsor us. I'm not averse to ads. I just don't think it's easy for me to say now that I'm not getting the offers, and if I was getting hundreds of offers, maybe I'd change my mind. But I really would only want to advertise things that are relevant to what we talk about. Like, I don't need to advertise, Raycon earbuds or Blue Apron meal kits or anything like that. I'll probably stick to, if someone has some artisan popcorn they want to advertise, give me a call. If there's a mom and pop like cinema out there, an indie movie house they want to advertise, let me know. But
I'll get in touch with the Pinewood Cinemas that was mentioned in another episode, because
still haven't been. Like all these things I've said I'm going to do on the podcast, I haven't done. Still haven't watched Remember the Titans. Still haven't watched Memoirs of a Geisha. But I found Memoirs of a Geisha on Blu-ray. So now, because it's not available in Australia, that was the big thing. So
that's weird.
Now that I've found it, I just have to get it over here. But it wasn't part of my massive order of Blu-rays, which I've been telling you about for the last week.
That's okay. I'll forgive you.
Thanks. I do appreciate it. So we are talking all things 80s today, and for the foreseeable future, it's going to be probably the next 10 episodes or so. So if people don't like 80s movies, you either will by the end of this, or you'll give up on the show pretty quickly. But one thing I thought about when I asked you to be the first episode, I was like, oh, you actually weren't born in the 80s. So
No.
I was barely born in the 80s, like in 1988. Do you know what I mean? It's like I remember wearing parachute pants or anything. But do the 80s mean anything to you? Like, is there any significance of the 80s to you, or you just kind of like, yeah, it was a time before? It's just ancient history to me.
No, like I love 80s music, like glam rock. I love like 80s pop music. And when you were talking about movies, I was like, oh geez, like I know the obvious ones, like Back to the Future and all that, but I was like, geez, like what movies like can I think of? And then when I went to start looking at them, I'm like, oh God, there's so many that I really, really like. And obviously recently Top Gun Mavericks come out and I went and saw that. And I went and saw it before seeing the first one. And the next day my dad was saying like, as if you haven't seen the first one, and was talking about like, how iconic it was at the time. And it was this huge flick. And then
I mean, I don't want to throw anyone under the bus, but like, isn't that kind of his responsibility? Like,
yeah, I know, right? Well, and then it's funny that you mentioned that because a lot of these movies that I've got on my list, like I did watch with him. So yeah, it was very, very eye-opening to be like, oh wow, like I didn't realize that movie was, I don't want to say old, because like when people say like the 80s, I'm like, oh yeah, that was 20 years ago.
yeah, I still do that. I still
Even though like I was born in 95, so that sounds stupid for me to say, but like, yeah, I forget what year it is all the time. So God forbid I ever go unconscious and need an ambulance, because if they ask me, I won't know.
Yeah, like the 80s, like literally the beginning of the 80s was over 40 years ago. So
that's nuts.
It's like when people talk about the 1950s, I'm like, oh yeah, 50 years ago. It's like,
literally.
No, 70 years ago. Oh. Good way to feel old and aging. Well, that's cool. I did wonder, but I guess everyone, like, if you like 80s music, if you even if you're born in the 90s or beyond, like if your parents grew up in the 80s, you're going to have that attachment generally. More often than not, you're kind of like, oh, I hate this music my parents play. But sometimes, like, there's some winners. I love 80s music. I think 80s music, like, it gets a bad rap because people like kind of think of, I don't know, girls just want to have fun and
that's a bop. So I don't know what you're talking about.
I'm not saying that's how I feel, although it is kind of how I feel. And like Madonna and stuff like that. But there's some really good stuff in there. And but I'm just not a big pop music fan in general. Like, it's going to really upset a lot of people. But Michael Jackson music, I could take or leave, to be honest. Yeah, I know.
Oh my God.
And like, that's not me being like it's bad. It's just not for me.
Yeah, that's
like
fair.
I'm not. You know what I mean? Like, just like Madonna and Cyndi Lauper and all that really like synthy bubblegum pop stuff. Like, I'll make some room for B-52s. I'll take some Love Shack. That's fine. But some of that more, I'll take some Prince.
I love Prince.
But but a lot of that stuff. But the 80s was a great era for like for heavy music. Like, I'm a big punk and metal guy, which most people who listen to this will probably be aware of. So you have the dawn of Metallica and Iron Maiden and Megadeth and Pantera. Oh no, Pantera was 90s actually, but like a lot of like those kind of big. And then you talk about hair metal, like Poison, Motley Crue, like.
There's a lot of music that, like, it's so funny, it comes up, but like my mom listened to like Prince, definitely Madonna, Cyndi Lauper, all that sort of stuff, but was dead obsessed with Bon Jovi, I think, as all women who grew up in that time were and continue to be. So I listened to a lot of that growing up. My dad was more into like classic rock stuff, so like AC/DC, Kiss, I think, is sort of borders on like classic rock but glam rock also because of the look. But yeah, like I grew up with all that. My dad was born in 65. My mom was born in.
Oh, your dad's young.
And my mom was born in 1970. So they were both sort of like, young people at the time. So a lot of the music that I listened to growing up was of that sort of era, even earlier, because my dad listened to, everyone listens to music that their parents listen to, and then they sort of develop their own style from there. So Yeah, and then even just some of the music in the movies and stuff that when you rewatch it, you're like, oh yes, this is a bop. And then, when newer movies reference the time, it's the same music. So yeah.
Well, I think I was thinking about this the other night, and without giving too much away about what is going to come up during the show, but if I remember rightly, the 80s was the first time they really used soundtrack. Like before then, it was always like an orchestral score or some sort of like kind of lyric-free score. But I think in the 80s, and I could be wrong, and if I am wrong, look, I watch a lot of movies, guys. I'm not going to remember everything. Give me a break. But I think that's when they first started using popular songs because we can just pay for a bunch of popular songs instead of creating something new every single time. And the 80s, obviously, there are some big songs, attached to some big movies. You got the movie song where the song became the theme song of the movie, which we may talk about a little bit later. You mentioned Back to the Future, like it's got two banging Huey Lewis and the News songs on there. Batman was done entirely by Prince. Like that whole Batman soundtrack is Prince.
I mean, Purple Rain was obviously like the album, like so good. That is not in my list, but like obviously, like
I'm glad it's not because I haven't seen Purple Rain, and that would have been like
like okay, cool.
It's gonna be interesting. I tend to always throw my wife under the bus on this show, and I really should get better at not doing that. But I will say this: my wife, I think she's gonna have some trouble with this topic because she always talks about how she's in the mood for an 80s film, and she loves 80s movies. I don't think I've ever seen her enjoy an 80s film. Every time we do an 80s movie, she doesn't like it. The exception being Back to the Future. I know she loves Back to the Future. She controversially last week chose Back to the Future 2 as one of her top 5 favorite films, and it drove a wedge down the household that week because I have very strong feelings about Back to the Future 2. Not that I think it's a bad film. I just don't know how you could ever choose anything over number one, but that's fine.
Yeah, on my list, mine would go 1, 3, 2.
Yes, that is the correct answer.
But
Nick controversially 2 weeks ago said he couldn't remember anything about number 3, and I was like, number 3 is great. But anyway.
Yeah, but I think they're all great. Like I will always watch them. Like I don't watch free to air that much, but if it's ever on and like I'm around, I'll just stop and watch it. Like when you in earlier episodes, like in your first couple of episodes, a lot of people said that that's one that they would never want to be remade, and I 100% agree. Leave the classic alone.
I remember about 10 years ago in the height of Bieber fever, there was talks that there was going to be a Back to the Future 4 or a remake with Bieber as Marty McFly.
No.
And at the time when I was very young and angry and didn't believe in liking everything, like I think now, like on this show, my mantra or kind of like approach has always been like, every movie is someone's favorite movie, therefore they all have value and there's no bad movies. 10 years ago, not the case. I was like, no, you can't do that, leave him alone. Like, don't do it. And then like there was like he was like posting rumors that he was gonna play Robin in a Batman film. I was like, no. I was just very anti-Bieber. Now I could care less. Like he's not for me, but like I'll just let him go. It's fine.
Look, I get around the Biebs, not so much his newer stuff, but he was definitely very popular when I was in high school. I knew a girl that she was like beyond obsessed, like walls covered just in Bieber. Everything had a life size cut out of him. Went and saw him in concert every time he was here. Did the VIP thing, met him, and so I can completely appreciate why they would try to why a studio would try and capitalize on that. But I'm glad that it did not eventuate.
Nice one. We should start talking about movies, talk about music long enough.
Yep.
You got 5 brand new ones. Did you bring any honorable mentions this time?
Out of the list of 25 that I had to cut down to 5.
I do know you angrily text messaged me last night. You're like, this is impossible.
Yeah, there are definitely some honorable mentions in there. Did you want me to wait to the end or to the?
Yeah, we can do it. I was just wondering if you did, because the 80s is a very interesting time. Like it really is the birth of the teen movie. You have the birth of the slasher film. Like we've had a couple of slashers before then, like Texas Chainsaw Massacre and Psycho to some degree, and Black Christmas. But the 80s is when the slasher craze really kicked up. You saw a lot more kind of like action films like with actual effects and explosions and stuff like that. The 80s launched a million different things, so it is very hard to
Very diverse.
distill it down to five. But you're the guinea pig. You're going to try it first. So yeah, what's on your list? You said you told me, you said, James, this time I actually have them in numerical order.
Yeah, which is unheard of if you know me at all. But my number 5 is Dead Poet Society.
Nice one, Robin Williams.
Yeah, I adore Robin Williams films. I think he was absolutely brilliant. I mean, I don't need to go on much more. I think his, repertoire speaks for itself. But I just thought, I'm a teacher, so it's something that, I mean, I can't really relate to. I've never had kids stand on tables, but
that's that one. So so full disclosure, still never seen Dead Poet Society. We're starting off with a ripper, but this is the one where they stand on the desks and "Oh Captain, my Captain." Is that?
Yeah. So I mean, like, you haven't seen it, so I don't want to give too much away, but essentially it's set at a all boys private school. It's quite elite. And parents have quite high expectations of what their kids are going to do. And some of their parents are quite like high society members, so people know people, and it's all networking and all that sort of stuff. And the school has quite a high reputation, and it's extremely, extremely strict on what they teach and how they teach it. And so the boys going into their new school year, and an alumni student comes back as a teacher and kind of throws this sort of attitude out the window. And the whole sort of theme of the movie is like carpe diem, like seize the day, live your life how you want to live it. You only get one life. But as the boys, like the main boys in the story, come to realize that it's not without consequence. So, things sort of happen that they got to get through, and they sort of band together a little bit. The ending is a little bit sad. Like, it's a bit bittersweet. So this one always gets me a little teary, which is not unusual. But I think, I can sort of relate a little bit. I went to a private school. It wasn't like elite by any means, but obviously
I can smell that money. Don't stress.
Please. But there was still like quite a high level of expectation, not just from the teachers or the school, but also like my family. So it didn't come without strings. It was an opportunity that was given that, had I not taken, I'm not sure where I would have ended up. So I'm glad to have gotten it. But, just to like give an example, I never chose the subjects that I was going to do at school. My dad always did.
Wow. Okay.
Because like I wanted to do like fun stuff like food tech and drama and things like that. But that's not going to get you like the right scores to get into uni. And like, not to poo-poo my dad, because he's great, but he didn't even finish high school, so he did not go to uni. So I'm not sure how much he would know about that. But I guess there was quite a bit riding on this opportunity that I was given. So I can sort of relate to one of the characters in the movie who he finds a love of acting, but his parents are really strict and is like, no, like that's a silly hobby. Like, no, you can't do that. I want you to focus on this and this and this so that you can get into an Ivy League school. So that part I can somewhat relate to, and having such a high expectation placed on you. And high school is stressful enough without everyone else telling you what you should be doing and how you should come out of it and all that sort of stuff. So it is a bit relatable in that sense for me.
So here's a question, because I haven't seen Dead Poet Society, and it's definitely going to be added to my list now. And I love Robin Williams. I don't think Robin Williams ever gave a bad performance, by the way. He might have made some films that aren't, a less than favorable, but he always gave a good performance.
Mm-hmm.
After listening to your description of Dead Poet Society, did they just remake Dead Poet Society into School of Rock?
No.
Okay, because every plot point I'm like, sounds like School of Rock. Like,
No, School of Rock is definitely, I mean, like they have the private school aspect and the high expectations of the parents aspect, but not really relatable otherwise. Funny that you should mention that because like I'm a teacher, but I did casual leave teaching for quite some time. And I have a friend who calls me Ned Schneebly for that reason. So like every time he talks to me, he's like, "What's up, Ned?"
Well, you should know it's pronounced Schneeble, but
that's it. So he always asks me, he's like, when you at our job, he's like, you know, do you call yourself Schneeble? Absolutely not. So yeah, that was my number 5.
That is a film that, as I said, I haven't seen. It's meant to be amazing. I really do want to see it. It's one I haven't ever got around to. I would not have picked it because it just doesn't like scream 80s to me. But what a great little.
Well, yeah, it didn't scream 80s to me either. And then I like,
you picked a normal film.
Yeah, I know.
No.
But yeah, like it has quite a big cast. So like Robin Williams, Robert Sean Leonard, Ethan Hawke, Josh Charles, Gail Hansen, like, and then when those boys when they were really young, so like when they were still, and now, you know, especially like Ethan Hawke and stuff, like quite big names.
Absolutely.
Won a bunch of awards, was nominated for heaps and heaps and heaps of awards. But yeah, really, really good movie.
Nice one. You're always bringing the classy ones. Like every time I finish talking to you, it's like, man, I still haven't seen those classy pictures like Memoirs of a Geisha or Remember the Titans, and now add Dead Poet Society to it.
I don't think the rest are not classy.
Well, if that's the case, then I've probably seen them. We'll see how we go. Nice one. Good way to start the list. What's number 4?
Number 4 is Labyrinth. I love this movie. Weirdly, I like, as I was sort of recapping my list and just making sure it is what it is, I remembered that when I was in prep, like my primary school, we did a school musical every single year, and it would be the whole school. So
wow.
Yeah, so I mean, they would do it over like 4 nights because my primary school is quite big. So they'd split it up but it would be the same thing every night. They'd have the main cast and then they doing obviously the acting part, but each class would perform a song over the night. So the Labyrinth was the musical for that year. And I was in prep and our song was Teddy Bear by Elvis Presley. When obviously the baby has the little Lancelot bear. So it just sort of triggered a memory. I'm like, oh my gosh, that's so crazy. But yeah, I love this movie. Obviously, the costuming and the clothes and the hair is very 80s, David Bowie.
Yeah, David Bowie has a very distinct look from top to bottom, to be honest.
From top to bottom and everything in between. That's it.
And you got a young Jennifer Connelly. I'm going to have to trade in I'm going to trade in my Snob card. I've not seen Labyrinth either.
Oh my God, James, get out.
I think that my parents want to protect me from David Bowie, to be honest.
That is
doesn't
fair.
he steal children in this movie? Isn't that like his whole thing? The Goblin King?
Yes. Yeah. Well, he, so basically, there's a 16-year-old girl and she's been a 16-year-old girl in a 16-year-old world, and she's asked to babysit for her parents, and the baby's just been annoying, just in the background. And
I have no idea what that's like.
Yeah, you wouldn't know. And she is like so fed up. She's like, oh, I wish the Goblin King would come and take you away. So like, I don't have to deal with you anymore. And he's like, well, I heard you rang. And so he comes and says like, all right, I'll take him away for you. And immediately she's like, no, oh my gosh, like I didn't mean it. But he's like, too late. And it's like, if you want him back, like you're going to have to solve my labyrinth. So over the journey, she meets a lot of characters, and they're all like all puppets. So like really the main, like the only real people in the movie are the girl and the Goblin King, and then I mean the parents at the start don't count, but
Yeah, they're
and
not characters.
the baby is obviously a person, but like is not a character really. It's just a noise, and everyone else is like a puppet. So it was really good. It has some good songs in it.
Is there a lot of because I'm rather ignorant of this one, like I don't want to list another movie that may be on your list, but considering Labyrinth is on, like I haven't seen Dark Crystal either, and that may be coming up. I'm not sure.
It's not on my list, but I also really like that.
I just so I'm quite ignorant. Is it a lot of David Bowie singing kind of original songs for the movie, or is it like is he throwing Let's Dance in there, or what's it?
No, so like with the
Or is it just
songs,
puppet
like
singing?
it's just mainly like there's 5 songs that he did for the actual film. But like especially like Magic Dance is probably the most well-known one. But there are like sort of like songs that were composed like just like score, like orchestral stuff for the movie. But I don't think there's any like
wasn't doing Modern Love or China Girl.
No, I don't think any of that.
I don't think he would be either.
Life on Mars, none of that.
Oh, what a tune though! Like let's give credit to where credit's due. Life on Mars is a brilliant song.
R.I.P.
I do want to point out to the listeners that a film snob is someone who's very picky. So the fact that I haven't seen it does not take away my movie cred card whatsoever. I just felt like I should put that out there because people are like, why does he even do a podcast?
I think this is one that I watched with my mom when I was young because she was a big Bowie fan. And much like my sister's going to hate me for saying this because I know she listens as well.
Does she? I didn't know she listened.
Yeah, I know she listened to my one, but I think after listening to my one, she went back and listened to a few of them. So she's listening to this. I'm going to say sorry in advance. But I think I related a little bit to 16-year-old Sarah in the movie a little bit because there's an 8-year gap between us. So I grew up taking care of my sister pretty much the whole time. So there was a time where she wasn't my favorite person because I wanted to just do kid stuff and play and do things that were about me. Because for 8 years, it was only just me and it was about me all the time. And then I had to share. So I could relate to that a bit. But, I'm also extremely protective of her. And like, I know that if I was in that situation again, I would immediately regret my decision also. So
yeah, I was trying to figure out so who's the Goblin King in this situation?
Yeah. But yeah, so I really like this movie. It's not, something that's life-changing or anything like that, but I think a lot of
it is for a lot of people, like, just because I haven't seen it, I don't want to take anything away from it. Like, it has a huge following, and it's very magical film. And I think, and I could be wrong, and I don't want to speak out of turn. If I'm wrong, obviously I'll apologize for it. But I believe it has quite a strong presence and meaning for the LGBTQ community as well.
Yeah.
Obviously, David Bowie had that meaning for that community already, and I think it's one of those ones that's very empowering and powerful movie as well. So look, just because I haven't seen it, and I said there are a bunch of puppets in it, doesn't mean I'm undermining it at all. It's meant to be a beautiful movie. So
yeah, initially when it came out, like it didn't do so well.
The best ones don't.
It didn't they had a budget of like 25 million.
In the 80s is a lot.
In the 80s, that's a lot of money. But in the box office in the US, it only made like nearly only 13 million. So it didn't do well at all when it first came out, but it sort of got this resurgence and now has, like you said, like quite a big following. So, I mean.
I think it's one of those ones kind of like, I think it probably would have done very well in the drive-in later on when you do those repeat viewings. And when you think about like event films like the Rocky Horror Picture Show, like the Labyrinth's one of those as well, where you get people dressing up and going in, and
That's so funny. My dad said that he used to go to those things, and like my dad is very like Aussie bloke, and he said that he used to go see like the Rocky Horror Picture Show, and I just could not.
I think my dad did that as well. Yeah.
And I was just like, that's so wild, because like I imagine like, I don't know. I guess that like for that movie, it's just got like such a cult like following. I couldn't imagine him going and doing it, but then also like, he really likes like meatloaf and stuff like that. So I'm like, oh well, I guess there's that side of it as well. I couldn't really imagine. I really don't ever want to have a picture of my dad as a Frankfurter, but that's a bit much. But
Well, there are other characters he could have been. Maybe he's I can't remember the guy's name. I can't remember his name now. But the guy with the long hair.
Yeah, he's
the guy that's the time warp. Yeah. Him.
Yes, he's got the chrome dome up top, and then he's got
I wanted to call him Chop Top because he looks like Chop Top from Texas Chainsaw Massacre. It's not that. Nice one. Well, that is like as much as Dead Poet Society is not a distinctive 80s film, this is absolutely a film that screams 80s. So, good one. I'm really hoping that I've seen at least one of the films on your list.
I will be like floored if you haven't seen this one. So my third one is The Goonies.
Yes, I've seen The Goonies.
Okay, good.
Great movie.
You're not fired. Okay,
I got it right here.
Oh, awesome! Thank God.
My wife hasn't seen Goonies.
I think she would like this one.
I keep telling her, I'm like, we've got to watch Goonies. A, because I haven't seen it in like 15 years, but B, because I'm like, you would like it. Like, it's really good.
It's an enjoyable movie. Like
Sloth Love Chunk.
That's it. Hey, you guys.
And it's like, look, you're married to someone who literally does the truffle shuffle every day. So.
Yeah, it's really good. Like, this is one of those movies that does have like the like music in it, like you said. So it has Cyndi Lauper in it. There's a few other songs in it that I can't remember.
I really want to watch it now, actually. Like, you've really got me in the mood for The Goonies.
I watched it only a couple of months ago. But yeah, it had a tiny budget of $19 million. But it made huge money. And like it has like big names in it that we know now, like Sean Astin, Josh Brolin, Corey Feldman. Poor Corey Feldman.
He's great. He made like a bunch. He was in the original Lost Boys and then made a bunch of sequels to Lost Boys like 30 years later. The second one's a little bit weaker because he's not in it much, but the third one he is like literally front and center, and it's amazing.
Yeah. So I mean, you've seen it, so I don't really need to tell you what it's about. But I just love the whole adventure of it, and like these kids banding together for a cause, and they're all like their friends. They don't want to leave their friends, so. Yeah, it was a great movie.
It's also got Short Round from Indiana Jones. He's great, and he just came back from acting. He retired from acting as a child and came back and did Everything Everywhere All at Once, which is meant to be fantastic. It's a strong flick. Like the absolute like talent on this movie behind the scenes, like Spielberg presenting, Richard Donner directing, Chris Columbus writing. Like those are all titans of the industry. Like and did amazing things before this film and have done incredible things since then as well. Like it's super fun. It's absolutely a kid's film, but like anyone can enjoy it.
Yeah. I think this is one that on a school holidays, I was at my grandparents' house, and my mum's sister, she lived like, only 10 minutes down the road from my grandparents. So I would always go over there and hang out with my cousins. And this was one of the ones that we got from the video shop on DVD, or it might have even been VHS at the time. But this is one of the ones that we all watched together, and then kept getting every single time we'd go and get DVDs because it was so good. So yeah, I love this movie.
Yeah, like that's another one. Like that's when I think about 80s films, like I mentioned, those big action films before and horror films, and we didn't talk about time travel, but time travel is a big part of the 80s as well. But the other thing is like the emergence of like the children's adventure film with believable stakes. It was like it's just like Stand By Me. Like is another one.
Oh,
That's not that's not a children's film, but it's a film about kids like going out and getting up to mischief. Corey Feldman's in that one as well. Pretty much anything Corey Feldman's in is probably a good one. And I'm struggling now to think off the top of my head, but just there's this whole like slew of like children getting up to mischief and going on like wild adventures and stuff. It's great. It's really good. And anyone who hasn't seen it definitely has to watch it, including my wife.
Yeah, come on, Tina, get with it.
Yeah, I'll get her onto it soon. Nice one. We can tick it off. I've got my nerd cred back, my snob cred back. Nice one. What is number 2 on your list? We're blazing through this list. We're getting through really quickly.
Okay, so my number 2 is The Karate Kid.
Nice one.
Have you seen
it? I know. And not for a lack of wanting. Like, it's one of those films that my wife and I talk about watching all the time. Like, yeah, we'll definitely watch it. And then like something comes up, we put it off. You know how like in the last phase, how's like what's the one film that's been on your watch list forever? Karate Kid is absolutely one of those movies where I know all about it. I know about Don't Sweep the Leg. I know about the Cobra Kai. I know about Pat Morita. Wax on, wax off, paint the fence. I know the crane. I know all that stuff.
All the references, but like
I know about catching flies with the chopsticks.
Yep. It's such a good movie. Like,
but if it makes you feel better, I also haven't seen the one with Jaden Smith, so it wasn't like
don't watch that one.
It wasn't like I was like, this one would be good enough.
No, don't watch that one.
Tell me all about Daniel LaRusso.
Oh, okay. So I think this is definitely another trip to the video shop where I think, just a weekend where we've done all the chores, let's just sit down and watch something together. And Dad got this old movie, and I was like, I don't want to watch that. And then we watched it, and I just thought, gosh, this was so good. And Ralph Macchio in the movie, like I thought he was so cute.
He was one of those 80s teen boy hotties, like just one of the guys that all the girls were into. Like,
yeah,
I hear you. I've seen the artwork. I understand.
That's it. But yeah, like he moves from moves town and gets this new school, and just bumbling around as a new kid trying to find his way. Obviously he has a crush on the pretty cheerleader girl, but the pretty cheerleader girl has a boyfriend who is like the kind of the school bully, I guess. Which is always the same in every high school movie ever,
especially from the 80s.
Yeah. So and because he's somewhat threatened because Daniel LaRusso is a nice boy, he decides to assert his dominance by beating him up with his Cobra Kai gang. And the Mr. Miyagi is like the what do you call it? Not like a janitor. He's a handyman that lives like in their building because they live in an apartment.
Okay.
He intervenes in this bashing of Daniel LaRusso, and he like defeats all of them. So, and he's an old man. So it's like, oh my gosh, you got to teach me. And he's like, no, you don't solve anything with violence. Like, you shouldn't be fighting. But, he wants it to stop happening. So he's like, I'll talk to the boss of the karate, like the dojo.
The boss of the dojo.
Yeah. The sensei. That's it. Because it's very, yes, sensei. But if you watched it, you would get it.
I know. Look, the problem I'm having now, Gabby, is that you're the first of about 10 people I'm going to talk to about 80s films, and I'm just worried that I'm going to have the same response. I'm like, oh, it's good, is it? Okay, cool.
Oh, cool, yeah, that sounds nice.
And it's crazy because 80s films was such a part of my childhood and my adulthood as well. Like, But anyway, that's okay.
Hmm.
Look, it makes for good listening because they're like they
Yeah.
feel like what an idiot. Like we can't help but listen.
But yeah, like there's obviously the big fight at the end, like, you know, who's going to be the winner. Obviously, like as the protagonist, like we want Daniel to win. And like when I was young watching it, I was like, oh, I hate that other guy. Like, oh, he's the worst because he's a bully and he's mean. But then, like, when you watch it when you're older, you sort of feel sorry for him because, like, he obviously doesn't have like a caring support system. Like, and the sensei's so mean, and clearly doesn't care about him. He's like, you know, very like he's an ex-military guy, so he's just all about results. And yeah, it's like sad a little bit for him.
That doesn't, you know, because what I know about Karate Kid, aside from what I've kind of heard over the years, just like from pop culture, is obviously there's Cobra Kai now, which has been a huge hit. I haven't had a chance to watch that, but I was like, look, I can't watch the sequel without the original. So like that's the only reason I haven't watched that one. I've heard it's very good. But there's also, I don't know if you ever watched How I Met Your Mother, but there's this ongoing storyline about how Barney is obsessed with the hero of Karate Kid, but it's not Daniel. So it's Johnny.
It's Johnny, yeah.
And he's like, and apparently there's a line where he's like, Daniel LaRusso uses an illegal move to win the fight. Like, is that true? Like,
no, he doesn't. He like does the crane stance, which you see earlier in the movie.
On the logs.
Yeah, that's it, at the beach. Yeah. Because like it's like a lesson about balance and stuff like that. But the sweep the leg comes, that's like, you know, that's the unethical move because his legs like injured. But yeah, so yeah, it's the build up is so good, and also it's got like one of my favorite, like, not inspirational songs, but one of those songs that make you like, yes, I'm in the mood, like You're the Best by Joe Esposito.
Yeah. They parodied that on Bob's Burgers like years ago. But they when the characters sing that song. It's a great song, yeah.
So every time I win anything, I'm always
You're the best.
The best around. Keep you. But yeah, so I loved it. And it's funny because You're the Best was written for Rocky 3 originally. But
I was gonna say it sounds like a Rocky song. Like it sounds like the kind of song that.
But Stallone was like, nah, and so they got Eye of the Tiger instead. They have the moment of truth in this movie, which is also by Survivor. But yeah.
Nice one.
That's it. That's my number 2.
Nice one. Well, I will say this. And I just realized how many times I said nice one because you definitely pointed that out to me the other day that I said that a lot. You've given me a lot of movies to look into where like nothing you've talked about I'm like, oh, I'm not gonna watch that. Like all I want to do now is like go back and watch these films. So
yeah, look, I mean, like it's a lot of these besides Dead Poet Society, they're very casual watching. Like you don't have to be, and I mean, Dead Poet Society, you don't have to be like a literary genius or anything like that. Like you could kind of passively watch it as well, but it's a bit more,
there's more in it.
There's more in it, yeah. Whereas like The Labyrinth is like kind of, it's very kiddie, like, and also like sing-songy and whatever. The Goonies is like a kids movie. This is like a kids type movie as well. So, you know, it's very casual watching. It's a feel good at the end. So yeah,
excellent.
Which is nice.
Excellent. Well, this brings you to number 1. So the question is, have I seen at least 2 of your movies on this list, or is it going to be a very, very
think you've
rough?
Seen it.
You don't think so?
No.
Who's in it? Let's build up. Who's the lead?
Sally Field.
Maybe. If she's the lead, maybe not.
Dolly Parton's also in this movie.
I don't think I've seen this one.
Okay.
Is it 9 to 5?
No. This movie I could not recommend more. Like it's Steel Magnolias.
I've definitely not seen Steel Magnolias.
I could not recommend this movie more. And like again, I didn't know.
This is a sad one, isn't it?
Yes and no. Like, it's got everything. Like, it's got, you know, it's got drama, it's got like jokes, it's got like a bit of heartbreak, but it sort of comes to like, you know, a happiness at the end. It's got really everything. And it's set in Louisiana, so like some Southern women. And you've got like a social worker, a beautician, this like rich, like this rich lady that's also in the friendship group. The social worker's daughter, she's like sort of younger, but she's like, I guess like in her early 20s. The other ladies are sort of a bit older. The former first lady of their town is also in their friendship group. And then there's also like this new girl who comes and she is like an apprentice under the beautician. And they're all like this friendship group. And so you have like, you know, the beauty shop chat of like the gossip and stuff. And that's all like very lighthearted. And you have like the subtle like, you know, the harmless bullying that they give to each other. And that's all really funny. And then you have like some of the drama because the daughter who of the social worker, she's got like health issues. So, you know, you sort of go, it starts like when she's getting married. And so everyone's like really excited, but there's also some sort of like underlying stress there because she's like in the 80s, I guess, and especially in the South, you marry and you have babies and that's what you do. And she's got health issues. So that's a bit of a concern as to, you know, if she's going to be able to do that and all that sort of jazz. So, yeah, you sort of join them on this journey, and this new girl who comes along and she's just run away from like a really crazy relationship. So you sort of see her blossom as well. But like it's so good. Like there's so many one-liners in that movie that are just like so funny. That I think there's the social worker, she's like, oh, you know, to the rich lady who's she's just this really grumpy woman, and her last name's Weezer.
Okay.
I think they call her Weezer, but her name is Louisa. And she said, oh, you know, you should come and talk to someone down at the center. You know, I think you'd really do well for me. She's like, I don't need it. I don't need therapy. I've just been in a very bad mood for 40 years. Yeah. So, and then the social worker's husband and the rich lady, they hate each other, but like, it's like a love hate. So at the end, when like it's sort of the movie's like wrapping up, he's like, oh, hey, Weezer. And she's like, eat shit and die, which is like obviously said with love. It's not like she really doesn't like him. But yeah, it's very funny. The former first lady and the beautician, like the beautician's kind of like the gossip. So they always like talk about people, not in like a real hateful way, but she says they're talking about like some girl from the town, and she's like, well, you know what they say, if you have nothing nice to say, come sit by me. And it's just like reminds me of like, you know, being in a gal group, I guess. But it's a really nice movie. It does make me absolutely bawl my eyes out. I watched it last night and I was like at the end. But I think also for me it sort of hits home a little bit because I have some sort of experience in what sort of happens towards the end. So I think that's why it gets me a little bit. Like it is sad, but I think that's why like it gets me so Suki Lala. But yeah, after watching it last night, it reaffirmed like, yeah, this is such a good movie and I'm really glad I think I saw it on a BuzzFeed article once. Like movies they're guaranteed to make you cry. So I was like, oh, I feel like doing that. So I watched it once and I was like, wow, yeah, I like this.
Love a good movie cry. We talked about this last time. Don't want to cry in real life, but give me a movie make me cry any day.
Right? Because then you turn it off and you're like, okay, I'm fine now.
That's it. My go-to. I think I said this last time. I was like, if I'm in the mood, I'm like, right, where's the big sick? Which I think I got you to watch. Well, you were like, you recommend a movie, and I literally like turned to my left where all my Blu-rays are, and just like picked out like 20 or 30, and you're like, they're all in alphabetical order. I was like, yeah, I just read them in order. But the first one you watched was Big Sick.
Yeah, I really liked that movie. That was, and then it's like a true story. So I was like, oh my gosh.
Yeah, beautiful movie. Still my knowledge. I'll tell you what, that is a movie that I would never have had any interest in watching, not because like I think it's a bad movie, just didn't seem like my kind of thing. You've 100% sold me on it. Like now I want to check it out. So
I think you would really like it. Do I think it might make you movie cry? Potentially.
That's not a bad
but
thing.
There's nothing wrong with that. That's
I
nothing
love
wrong with
a
it.
movie cry. As I said, don't want to cry in real life, but I'll cry in a movie.
I think you will love the the Southern women and their back and forth. I think you'll love that because it's just so sassy and I love it.
That's look, that's what I'm all about. I'm all about that sass. So that's it. Look, I'll tell you what, Gabby, this is a really great list. Now, I can't provide my opinion on many of them, but look, there's definitely some definitive like Labyrinth, Goonies, Karate Kid, absolutely definitive 80s films by any standard. The other two I would think less of, and I think not quite sure when Dead Poets Society came out, but still Magnolia is right on the cusp of the 90s, so you don't automatically jump to them. But I think it's good that you've kind of not gone for the obvious ones. Like maybe maybe there are a couple of ones I'm like, oh yeah, that's obviously like a good 80s choice, but there's a couple of like curveballs in there as well. And as I said, like Steel Magnolias, I never in my life have been like, well, I guess I'll watch that. But now I'm like, oh, just like Memoirs of a Geisha, I'm like, right, Gabby just sold me on a film that I probably wouldn't have watched otherwise. So
yeah, I definitely had some like more obvious honorable mentions, but I think these ones like I always go back to, whether the honorable mention ones I would watch maybe like once every couple of years or something. Like I haven't watched them as often. So like the Never Ending Story, I love. But like I think I watched it like maybe a couple of years ago and I was like, oh geez.
I was just saying, I don't know how it holds up. I haven't seen it in a long, long time, but I've heard it's one of those ones where like it probably lives better in your memory.
Yes, definitely.
And not to say, not to say it's a bad film, but it's just, it's quite long if I remember correctly, and like it's limited by its budget, the effects of the time.
Yes.
That sort of thing. Yeah.
So I mean, like it's like, did I still enjoy it? Yes. And did I still sing along? Yes. But I went from really like resonating with the main character to being like, ew, he's so whiny and annoying.
What else is in your honorable mentions?
Footloose. Like
yes, of
that's
course.
That's an obvious choice.
Kevin Bacon.
Gremlins.
Gremlins is a great movie, and that movie holds up. That
one does, yeah.
And it's really dark. Like it's a kids' film, and there's like talks about like suicide and stuff in it. Like it's full on. But it's wonderful. Plus one of my favorite stars of the 80s, Phoebe Cates, plays the girl in Gremlins. She's amazing. She will definitely be coming up when I talk about my list at some point. She's great.
Also, Heathers.
Okay. I watched that one recently. I would say for the first time in the last couple of years. It's one of those nights my wife was like, I want to watch an 80s film, put on Heathers. She hated
it. Yeah, I think this one's more of a bit of a cult classic, I think. Because like when I watched it, I was like, it's not like so crazy to me, but also like I think because I'd like seen it referenced in so many other things, I was like, I've got to watch it. And then I was like, okay, cool. Like I can get the hype.
Well, it does fall into that category. I often see it lumped in with like Clueless and Mean Girls. Like even though it's not really anything like those movies, it does get lumped in. I think like I found it to be quite interesting. I wouldn't go so far as to say that I loved it, but I did find it like when we were talking about it, like she was like, oh, maybe we'll turn it off. I'm like, oh, if you don't like it, she's like, do you like it? I'm like, I don't know that I love it, but I'm really interested. I think there's some really interesting ideas in here. The weirdest thing or the toughest thing is like at that stage in his career, I just don't think what's his name? Christian Slater had the sex appeal I think he thought he had.
No.
Like, because he's playing it up like as a real like chick magnet, and they do play it up like that, but he's really not. Like, he's very like
definitely
creepy.
not. I didn't think that he's not my type. I also had like E.T.
Yes.
Police Academy.
Now, have you watched Police Academy recently?
No.
Because I actually love pretty much all the Police Academy films now, but not because I'm like, cinema at its finest, which it doesn't. I love Steve Guttenberg. I think he's super underrated, and the fact that like he just disappeared off the map like after the like mid-90s was a real loss to comedy.
But I think that there is definitely, if I did watch it now, there'd be a lot of jokes where I'm like,
There's one. There's one. I won't repeat the word, but there's a slur, and it was like, and it was used, which comes up a lot in 80s films, like lot. But it was one of those ones where I was like, I didn't even understand the joke. I was just like, I just thought they wanted to say it for the sake of it.
Yeah.
But that being said, you take that out, and it's a really enjoyable movie. Like, and I like all of them. I think they're all really funny.
I've got like 3 more that I like have to mention. So sorry that's taking up everyone's time.
I can talk about some of these.
But The Princess Bride.
Love The Princess Bride. I showed my wife this one recently because it's one of those films that's been on. I saw probably about 10 years ago. I was late to it, but I saw it and I loved it. And she refused to watch it because all of her friends, I think, liked it when she was younger. She's like, I don't know, I don't want to watch it. It looks like a dumb movie. I was like, let's just watch. I'm like, it's 90 minutes. It's really quick. Let's just watch it. If you don't like it at any point, we can turn it off. And she sat through it, and she didn't love it, but she really enjoyed it. But it's great. It's like, really good.
I like it's like you keep on using this word. I don't think it means what you think it means, and I'm just like, God, if they like I say that daily, all the time.
Inconceivable. He's the voice of Rex in Toy Story, by the way.
What is his name? Because
Wallace Shawn.
I feel like he's in
a lot of stuff.
He's in a lot of stuff, and his voice is so like you know it's him. Like you may not know who his name is, but you see his face when you hear his voice.
But Mandy Patinkin, like, my name is Inigo Montoya. You killed my father. Prepare to die.
Prepare to die. Yeah.
It's I love it. Like, I saw it so late. It's one of those few 80s films that doesn't matter how much time passes, it just holds up.
Yeah, it's really good.
And and it's a love story, and they even make fun of it in the beginning of the movie where the boy's like, I don't want to read a love story called The Princess Bride. And it's so much like it's the Dread Pirate, what's his name? The Dread Pirate Phillips, I want to say.
Oh jeez.
Yeah, no, I'm really
it's nearly 10 o'clock. I don't know.
But it's great. I can only say good things about it. It's a lovely, lovely, wonderful movie.
Yeah, that one. The Land Before Time. That was a movie that I grew up on.
Yes, I didn't realize it was 80s. I thought it was early 90s, but
yeah, so I think it's late 80s, that one. But I grew up on that, and then from there developed my love of Jurassic Park. Like dinosaurs were huge when I was growing up. So
me too.
And like I watched it with some family friends, and they lived in like when it came out, we were watching a video, and they lived like in the Chadstone area, so they had all these big trees with the big leaves, and like, oh my God, tree stars.
Land Before Time, I think, started, or if it didn't start, it was definitely part of the beginning of the whole movement of here's a film where children get lost and are sad.
Yeah. And then like there's the stuff behind the scenes, like with the cast I have, that's very sad.
It could just be all of them, but I feel like that's the one with the dead mother dinosaur in the rain.
Mm-hmm.
Like,
literally
It's why I haven't
heartbreaking.
gone back and watched An American Tale or like any of those. Like, oh my goodness, those children's cartoons. I mean, like the children's cartoons always have some sadness, but those
Yeah, I get they're trying to teach kids that, well, don't enjoy anything too much because it's going to
yeah,
be bad.
yeah. Everything ends, kids. Good night.
Exactly. And then the last one that I will mention is The Little Mermaid, which was like the movie that I watched and watched and watched and watched and watched until I killed the VCR with it when I was a kid. I will watch it now and like, yeah, there are obvious things that are not the greatest about it, but the
We were talking about this at work
songs,
the other day,
yeah.
and I had to go and like then I had to go back to you and someone else
Like,
in that
I don't
conversation.
hate it.
Because I do like that movie quite a bit, but
Yeah.
the general message of the film is problematic.
Yeah, for sure. I just love the songs in it. I can still like if I just heard the soundtrack without the words, like I would still be able to sing them word for word.
Mm.
I remember when Kiana was, this is my sister, I don't know if I already said her name, but when she was, when my mom was pregnant with her, my dad decided to do this huge murals on her bedroom walls. So she had 2 blue walls and 2 yellow walls, which I mean, the color scheme is like it sounds disgusting, but like it's literally it's very flounder. But so the 2 blue ones, so that one of the 2 main walls, one was blue, one was yellow, and the other ones were like sort of where the window was and where the wardrobe was, so they didn't really get anything on them. But the blue one had all like sea and like ocean type characters, and then the yellow one had all like land type characters. So he got a projector and then like traced pictures of like the Little Mermaid, Finding Nemo, like all different characters from those movies. I'm not sure if there was any others in the sea ones that I can list off the top of my head. And then
It's very creative of your dad. I mean, I don't know your dad, so I'm not being like,
yeah,
oh,
he's
nice of
like,
him to be creative. Like, not at all. I don't know him at all, but
he's pretty arty. Like he's
and what
really
a great
good at that
idea
sort of
just
stuff.
to project them.
Yeah, and then on the land side, there was like things like Winnie the Pooh and Toy Story and just all little things. And we had like one of his friends, like he did the projector stuff, but one of his friends' wives is like really, really into art, and she did all like the finer details. So like in the distance, because you had like Ariel on the rock with that but she did all like the sea foam and like the little pirate ship, well, not the pirate ship, they weren't pirates, but the ship in the distance. It was very, very, very cool, and it broke my dad's heart to have to paint over that. I'm not even sure if we did. I can't remember if we painted over it before we moved house, but it was, I think I got to paint one of the things. It was something that was very simple that I just like, there was no technical aspect to it at all.
Sea slug, just like.
No, it was the pink starfish from Finding Nemo is what I painted on it.
Okay, cool.
Yeah. So, but yeah, like I just love that movie.
You just found a way to make it better though. You just said it before. Like, why isn't there a scene where they're fighting pirates? Like,
well, that's it. That would have been cool.
Like that would be the modern gritty take. Like it'd be like kind of like Aquaman, where it's like they have to fight pirates in a storm, and I would be there for it. But
is that what Aquaman 2 is going to be about?
I don't know what number 2 is about. Number 2 is called The Lost Kingdom.
Interesting.
But I'll check it out. Of course.
Same, because
Momoa.
Duh. Well, yes. There's a reason I saw it in IMAX.
Yeah. but no, Little Mermaid is stunning to look at, and it's part of that Disney Renaissance. I think I've talked about it a couple of times before on the show, but like you have that trilogy or that trifecta of Little Mermaid, Aladdin, and Beauty and the Beast. We're just like, and I don't think Disney was going away or anything, but I think they're just like kind of the story's a bit old fashioned. They were a little bit kind of very much of the kind of what Walt's ideas
Christian
were.
Anson type. Like,
yeah, and look, and a lot of those even more modern ones are still based on that, but they just they kind of revamp them and stuff, and it's a gorgeous looking movie. And Ursula, what a great villain!
I mean, hello, like they have like based the villain on a drag queen.
Mm. Was it Divine who they based it on?
Yes.
Yeah, who's in a bunch
Yes.
of John Waters movies. Yeah,
That's right. Yeah, like
Pink
not a kid friendly character, but
No, not at all.
but they've definitely made it kid friendly for this movie. But still, like, she's got one of the best songs in the movie.
It is.
And
It is a strong. It is a strong move for the songs. Like I think we were talking about this the other day. Like I think I said the songs like I just don't. I think Under the Sea is overrated. I don't think it's a bad song, but everyone goes to Under the Sea. I think it's just just can't wait to be King from Lion King is kind of the same song, just done better. I can see the frustration in your face.
I mean, I like those two are like on par for me. I sort of jump between each of them with which one I love the most. But when the Little Mermaid, and I could be wrong, but when the Little Mermaid gets a stage play, then I'll go see that.
Oh, absolutely.
But I've seen The Lion King twice when it's come in the theater, and it was one of the best experiences both times of my life.
It's fantastic. It's such a great show. I saw it when I was 17, I think. I think I was in like my last year of high school. And I went and saw a very long version of The Lion King because they added about 15 songs to the show.
Yeah.
But it is stunning. Yeah, for me, I think the best Disney film in terms of songs has got to be either Mulan or Aladdin.
Yeah.
Those are some
I love
strong
Mulan.
soundtracks. But I don't want to get too distracted. Little Mermaid,
Sorry.
which wasn't on your top 5, is a fantastic movie. That's it. That is your honorable mentions. I'm so glad I could talk about some of them because I was just like, oh no.
All 57 of them. But I thought, yeah, at least the honorable mentions I knew you would have seen. But I thought these ones like could be hit or miss.
You were being you were going underground on me. Like, hey.
I was trying to out snob the snob.
Yeah, and you really did. Play me for an absolute fool. This will be the last episode Gabby comes on because you have to be smart. Yeah, that's okay. Once we get to 2000s and beyond, yeah, might have heard of a few more of them. No, I've heard of all of them. I just haven't seen them. So that means we've got one thing left to do. We are returning to the rapid fire question round. There are brand new questions. This is a chance for me to feel better about myself because I can take control of this damn show again. So we have some 80s themed rapid fire questions for you, Gabby, and you have no idea what they are because I came up with them last night. So, in your opinion, which movie is the definitive 80s movie? Doesn't have to be your favorite one or the best one, but which one screams 80s to you more than anything else?
Oh gosh. I mean, like,
in true rapid fire.
Yeah, I know. Most people I reckon would say Back to the Future, but I'm gonna say Flashdance or Footloose.
Great answer. I would agree with Flashdance. Leg warmers, Maniac.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that is absolutely a great answer. Alrighty, and this we talked about a music a lot before. Which 80s movie has either the best theme song or the best soundtrack?
Dirty Dancing.
Nice one. What a Feeling? Is that Flashdance?
That's Flashdance. No, yeah, that's Flashdance.
I Had the Time of My Life.
Yes.
Yes.
Hungry Eyes, you know.
You can see I was big on those 80s dance films. Alrighty. So which actor or actress, in your opinion, defined the 80s? Whose decade was it? We are like, that person is.
Oh, wow.
Came to play, bro. These questions are tougher than last time.
That is hard. I would have to say I don't know.
For you, like, it doesn't have to be like,
for me, but like I'm thinking like because I like the ones that I'm thinking of, like I'm not sure if they were big beforehand, but I knew that they were definitely big afterwards.
But that's
So,
okay. It's for who like
so like maybe Keanu Reeves.
he was on my mind. That's a good one. Absolutely. Had a couple of good hits in there. Bill and Ted.
Bill and Ted, yeah.
That's it. What's the best 80s vehicle or mode of transport?
A DeLorean.
Yeah, that is a good one.
Like, come on. I don't think that there's, or maybe Falcor from the Neverending Story.
That's pretty good. There's a lot of good ones. You got those two. You've got the Batmobile. You've got Top Gun. You've got all those sweet jets.
That's it.
Lots of you got your different time traveling telephone boxes. So there's all sorts of great vehicles in the 80s. And this is a bit of a spin on the previous one. Which 80s film should they remake?
Scarface. I think it would be interesting.
Oh, that's a really good answer. That's
I think it would be very interesting.
That's a great answer because it's already a remake.
Yeah.
All right, and who do you cast? Like, this is just me now. I'm just interested. Who do you cast as Scarface? I mean, we had a guy who's not Cuban playing a Cuban guy last time. So
yeah, but I think like you got to actually, cast appropriately now. It wasn't such a big deal back then, but
I guess you could also change the story, like because
I think you could have Margot Robbie
as Scarface was the wife.
the what?
Because I would watch Margot Robbie as Scarface.
Not as Tony Montana. I'm trying to think now. Like,
do you go like John Leguizamo? Like he's my go-to, like Latin actor. You got to go you got to go someone who's like old enough to be around for a little while, but still like young and sexy enough to bring.
You know who I would love to do it, but I think it would just be like a piss take if they did it. It would be like Zac Efron.
He would be pretty good, actually. He's a really good actor. I was going to say, what about, I couldn't remember the guy's name, Taylor Lautner.
Bay. I think, I don't know if he has the range. As opposed to Zac Efron, who's like always the hot, stupid one.
I think Scarface is a brilliant answer. Like that is a film, and like I know a lot of people hold that film dearly, but it is a very, it's not a bad film, but it's a film that gets, I think, a lot more credence than maybe necessary. Like people compare it to The Godfather and that sort of thing.
Correct. I love I really like The Godfather. I think I watched it for the first time probably about 4 or 5 years ago, and I think I was house sitting for someone who had Foxtel, and they had all the movie channels, which is like a measure of wealth. It's like if you have the movie channels and you're rich. And they had it, and it was like they were doing a marathon on one of the channels, and so I sat and recorded them overnight so that I could, not sit down for 9 hours. But I watched them sort of one by one, and I was like, yep, I like it.
I think Michael Pena would be a good Scarface. He played, he's in a really wonderful movie called End of Watch with Jake Gyllenhaal. But he's probably a little bit more well-known now for being Ant-Man's friend, the guy who does all the voiceovers in Ant-Man.
Oh.
But he's a really good dramatic actor as well. And I think he could be an interesting Scarface.
Maybe like some of those actors that are in like Mayans, which is that like TV show.
I was thinking that as well.
Like,
or we go with your original suggestion of Margot Robbie as Scarface.
Yeah, Margot Robbie as Scarface. What maybe Danny Pino, who he's in Mayans, but he's also in like Law and Order SVU. I feel like he could do a little spin on it. I don't know.
Look, I'm not against it. That's a great answer. That was I threw that question next. I'm like, they're gonna hate this because like the '80s is such like a beloved like era of films. People are like, no, none of them. But Scarface.
Zero. I think it would just be interesting because like, what could you do with it? Like,
yeah, no, but like it's not like drugs have gone away. Like, to me.
No.
It's not like cartels have gone away. Like that's a solid one. You could easily do that, or you could just make it. You could still set it in the '80s and just make like you don't have to make it a modern adaptation, but you could.
Well, now like they like did Narcos really well, so like.
Oh, Pedro Pascal.
Oh yeah. Okay. Yes.
Yeah. There we go.
Very good.
Nice one. Well, that pretty much wraps up our first episode all about the '80s. Obviously, a bit of a rocky start from yours truly. Not as experienced with the films as he was hoping to be, but that's okay. Yeah, it was good to have you back on the show, Gabby, and we'll definitely have you back again. We were trying to make you wait so long this time, but I think it was you were on episode 8 and now 16, so obviously the next one will be 24. We'll just
slot me in.
Hopefully, Andre enjoyed the little shout out. Name drop him again, just for a little delight there.
I can tell he's going to be so embarrassed.
I mean, look, I won't embarrass you, but like you definitely sent me messages about like reactions that you will. But I'm not making fun. Look, I genuinely like love hearing about people enjoying the show. So
yeah, I mean, like everyone that I have told to listen to it, they've all enjoyed it. I haven't heard anything other than like, oh, this was like a really good listen, or like, oh yeah, now I'm thinking about my top 5. Like so many people said it to me after listening to my episode, and I said like, go listen to the other episodes because like, okay, you think about your top 5 like personally one, then there's like the Batman one and the animation one, even the one that you did with your dad, like it kind of me
he broke the rules. That was the first episode I ever recorded. That was
so and like, actually, it's funny that you mentioned Andre. He watched Blues Brothers with his dad last night, and that's one of my dad's like absolute fave movies as well. So like, and I was like, oh, that's funny that you mentioned that. Like, I'm watching like I have to pick my favorite '80s movie. So I mean,
that is a movie that was on my top 5 favorite films forever, and this year is the first time it didn't make the cut.
Gosh, I mean, like I hadn't watched it for a long time, but then like he was watching it and then I wanted to watch it, but I was already watching Still Magnolias. I'm like, well, it's a bit of a change of vibe.
Yeah.
But like I forgot how many big names are in it. And I was like, Jesus, they got everyone in there.
That would actually be a pretty strong contender for best soundtrack for me. It's a really good soundtrack.
That's a really good one.
I'll be interested to see like if people, bring up Simple Minds for best song, Don't You Forget About Me.
Yeah, I like that was.
It's not a very, very good song, but it is very like catchy.
Yeah. Sorry, I have a guest on the table.
I know. I saw.
He's trying to make himself comfortable.
He wants to know what my top 5 favorite cat films are. It's every version of Cats, and then Cats and Dogs.
Cats and Dogs is a good one. But the Breakfast Club did come up, but I just never got why everyone loved it so much. Like I liked it, but I didn't think it was like the best movie ever. And I know I must be breaking hearts all around whoever's listening.
It's a great film, but it's also very much a film for teenagers.
I think when I watched it, I just didn't get how they like first of all, when they first started, they like didn't talk to, they knew of each other, but they didn't talk to each other. And then at the end, they were all like besties, and then they couple off. And I just thought, like, what the hell?
No, that's the thing about John Hughes films. So like and I'm sure Ferris Bueller will come up at some point. Like I love Ferris Bueller. One of my like a really, really lovely, wonderful film. Really, really funny. Watched it when I was a kid, and I told my wife whenever because she, as I said, she said, I feel like an 80s film, like Ferris Bueller. We got to watch Ferris Bueller. You'll love Ferris Bueller. I watched as a kid. Ferris Bueller's a hero. She watches as an adult, also a teacher.
Yeah.
She hates Ferris Bueller. Worst character for. She's like, he's just obnoxious and just ruins everything. And when I watched it the second time, I'm like, he's kind of annoying actually, but doesn't mean I don't enjoy seeing him sing in the parade, stealing the car, pretending to be Sloane's dad, and then kissing her out the front of the school for some reason. Like there's.
Yeah, dads don't do that. Well, not nice ones anyway.
Yeah, not like that. Just in a trench coat. That's got Miss Dirty Dancing herself, I think, is in it, or is it Flashdance? But I think one of the girls, I don't know, but the girl who plays Ferris' sister, I think, is in one of those dance films.
Oh, Jennifer.
I think she's baby, isn't she? Like
yeah, Jennifer.
Yeah.
Yes, I know.
Not Beals, Jennifer Grey.
Yes.
Yeah, there we go. Redeemed by getting one thing right in the whole episode. Excellent. Well, we will definitely be having Gabby back, as I mentioned, unless she's like, no, I'm done with this now. You know what I haven't heard yet, Gabby, is I haven't heard much feedback about my list. I thought that like people would be like, either like I imagine I was just expecting them to be outraged, be like, what? Like why just those 5 movies?
No, I think out of your 5, I think I've seen 3 of them, and then I just wanted to watch the other ones because I was like, well, they must be good if you like them, and like rate them that highly because I know you watch a lot of movies. But
if I have to guess, I would say the 2 on my list you haven't seen were Midsummer and Clerks.
That is correct.
Yeah.
And Midsummer, I'm like, I don't know if I should watch it. I don't know if I'm going to find it too scary.
It's on Netflix now, but it's not it's the original cut, which is 2.5 hours long. The director's cut, which is the only version you get on DVD and Blu-ray, is 3 hours long.
Okay. I was like, I don't know why. I just thought I'm like, I'll just go to a video shop and get it. No, I won't.
The opening 15 minutes is the scariest part of that film. It's really upsetting. But after that, like, it's violent, but it's
okay.
If you can handle gore, you'll be all right.
Yeah,
but it's a film about cults, so there's weird sex stuff in it. So like, because I remember you told me you watched Shape of Water. You're like, I wasn't prepared for everything in Shape of Water. I was like, oh yeah, it's a pretty sexual film.
Yeah, I mean, well, I won't watch it with my dad. So
fair enough. That's not unless you have that Ferris Bueller relationship.
No.
No. That seems like a really good place to end the show. That has been I Was a Teenage Film Snob for this week. Follow us on Instagram, I Was a Teenage Film Snob, underscores between each word because Instagram is kind of a jerk. There haven't been many posts lately because I'm still getting over being very, very sick, but I have a large order of Blu-rays coming in, which I'll definitely be sharing with everyone because brag. If you haven't listened to the old episodes, go listen to them. They're on Spotify and Apple Podcasts right now. Listen to my top favorite films. Let me know what you think. Give us a 5-star review if you want to. Apparently it helps. And, Gabby, we say this every week, but I will remind everyone I was a teenage film snob, despite what this episode proved. But I am trying to be better. We'll see you next week.